I'm Tin Lee. Welcome to Worldwide News, your social news network. Today, we will be looking at Germany, the fifth largest economy in the world, and is now facing significant challenges to sustain its long-term growth. Unemployment rate in Germany is now 5.3%. It has decreased 0.2% compared to last year. This indicates that now people in Germany are finding it easier to find the jobs and they are beginning to accept lower wages. There are possibilities of this nation's unemployment rate is due to structural, fictional, and cyclical unemployment. Here is a demand-deficient unemployment ASAD model. The AD curve is shifting to the left, indicating that there's a decrease in aggregate demand of the nation's output, which is probably from other foreign countries selling goods at a low price, making the domestic demands for certain types of labor to fall. This would cause unemployed workers to have a harder time looking for a job. From here, we can tell that Germany must be at the recovery phase or at the end of a recession phase. In this graph from Y1 to YE, the unemployment rate is greater than the natural rate unemployment, causing a recessionary gap. Here's another ASID model demonstrating the possibilities how Germany's economy is starting the recovery process, and that the AD curve is starting to shift closer and closer to the right, indicating that it is trying to close the recessionary gap. This means that workers are beginning to accept low wages, and this could increase employment output back to full employment. Now we will proceed on to inflation. Inflation rate is the change in CPI, Consumer Price Index, between 2 years. Now we will proceed on to inflation. Inflation rate is the change in CPI, Consumer Price Index, between 2 years. CPI measures the price of a set basket of consumer goods. They include goods that typically households consume between one time period and another. Germany's inflation rate is also relatively low, 1.6% in 2013. A low inflation rate would have a range between 0 to 5%. This means that the business and household in Germany can invest, spend, and save without fear of future erosions in value of saving and investment. Germany has achieved one out of its 4 macroeconomics by keeping a low inflation rate. From the unemployment and inflation rate of Germany this year, we can determine a trade-off between unemployment and inflation in an economy through the Phillips curve model. If 80 falls in the short run, the nation's unemployment will rise and inflation will fall. And when 80 rise in the short run, unemployment will fall and inflation will increase. Therefore, we can see that the 80 has fallen in the economy and is probably in a recession because at point A, unemployment is relatively high and inflation is relatively low. This is probably caused by a weak AD curve. Therefore, firm has to cut back on output and reduce prices to maintain the sales during period of weak demand. Inflation is therefore low. Firm has to lay off workers in order to reduce costs. This would increase unemployment rate. Moving on to Germany's economic growth rate. Economic growth is an increase of output of goods and services in the nation between 2 periods of time. Over the course of 2 years, from 2011 to 2013, the economic growth rate has decreased until 0.5% in 2013. This means that the actual output and potential output of Germany has decreased in 2013. From the business cycle of Germany throughout these 3 years, Germany's economy could be at the end of recession or at the beginning of recovery. This means that it's very hard for Germany to sustain long-run economic growth because Germany will have to improve physical capital and technology or human capital and productivity. Moving on to the final macroeconomic objective, equity and income distribution. Germany's income equality can be measured through the Lorenz curve model shown above, which shows the percentage of total income earned by different segments of a nation's population. From the Lorenz curve, we can see that the poorest 70% only earn 50% of the income, and the richest 30% earn 50% of the income. There is also the line of perfect equality for comparison. The perfect equality line is when everyone is earning the same amount of income. Therefore, the closer the Lorenz curve is to the line, the more equality income is distributed. Here is the Lorenz curve comparing Germany and South Africa. From here, we can tell that Germany's income is distributed most evenly. Germany's income is more equal than South Africa's probably because of the extent to which the government of Germany promotes equity in income distribution compared to the government of South Africa. Overall, Germany has achieved 2 out of its 4 economic objectives. It has achieved a low and steady inflation rate and achieved equity in distribution of income by having the Lorenz curve closer to the perfectly equity curve. Theoretically, though, in the long run, it is possible for Germany to achieve all 4 of its economic objectives, because that is when the workers will begin to accept low wages, and this would increase the employment output to the full employment. By doing this, the economy will expand and it will increase the economic growth rate. Well, I'm Tian Lei, and this is Worldwide News for today, Wednesday, April 22nd.